Alright guys, so another really good episode of Dragon Ball Super has finished. I continue to be surprised at how quickly the show has turned me around from previously. After the incredibly disappointing end to the Future Trunks arc, I swore to myself that I would not let myself be sucked in by Dragon Ball Super again, and I would let the cool moments come to me as they would, and not, like, get overly hyped or anxious for stuff. But psych! Bitch! Too late! Dragon Ball Super has had me too hyped lately. I am so freaking ready to see some of this stuff that's happening. So now we're talking about episode 97, and this preview is nuts. I thought maybe we would see, like, there's going to be a little discussion. I'm sure the Daishinkan will explain the rules just before the fighting actually starts. I figured we'd probably just see a lot of shots of people kind of like listening to what the Daishinkan was talking about. And then maybe, we would see shots of everyone acting all surprised when they find out that you die if you fall out of the Tournament of Power ring. But no, that's not what we got. Well, we get dudes throwing hands in this preview. I couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa, they're showing it. And, like, we see tons of fighters we have not seen before outside of, just being introduced at the last episode, really going ham. And I'm like, okay, maybe this Battle Royale was a sick idea here. Seriously, we see the trio of dangers running around. We see Topo fighting. What's interesting is that Goku is actually battling that spy from way earlier back who found out about Frieza being revived. Goku is one fighting with him, and what's interesting is that there's a line of dialogue Goku says in the subtitles where he's like, what? You're gonna take me out along with yourself? And I'm like, oh shit. So one of these universes might have the plan. They have the idea. Maybe they were told by their Kaioshin or God of Destruction how ridiculously insane powerful Goku is, because remember, a lot of the gods were surprised to discover that Goku had God Ki back at the Zen exhibition match. So maybe one of these Kaioshins or gods told one of these fighters, yo, take one for the team. You need to, like, kill yourself, but also get rid of this dude. His god energy is ridiculous. He is a huge threat. So it looks like that is something that might try to happen, which I guess makes sense and does, that would be pretty cool to see how Goku defends himself from like a Majin Vegeta-esque style attack or something along those lines. Now, we do see a lot of other skirmishes happening. We actually see full power Master Roshi bulked up to max firing a Kamehameha. No indication of who he's fighting. Most of these shots here appear to be, like, right after the Daishinkan would probably, put his hand down and be like, all right, begin, motherfuckers. And then we see a lot of shots of all of them kind of running forward. So I guess, just like the Kaioshin predicted several episodes ago, the center of the ring is where everyone is going to try and congregate around. And it's going to become, like, a huge, intense battle scene where, like, all these fighters are really going at it. Another cool thing we see is we see a shot of two unknown individuals shooting off blasts, and 17 actually blocks it with this barrier. Now, of course, everyone should know that 17 does have a barrier. He used it in his fight against Piccolo, and then he also is using it in the outro Boogie Back. But I do like how they are taking into account all of the characters' each individual abilities and bringing them out here. So having 17 bust out that ability he used back in Dragon Ball Z, super, super dope to see. But the last thing we see in this preview is the one that, like, blows me away more than anything. We see what appears to be, we don't actually see Goku and Jiren in the same shot, but it almost kind of seems like Goku is approaching Jiren this quickly. Is it possible that we could see Goku and Jiren battling throughout the entirety of the Tournament of Power while they're fighting, everything else is going on? That, like, I feel like that would be sensory overload at this point. To have, like, the main marquee fight just happening constantly the entire time, my body is not ready for this. So, based off what I'm seeing, I think that's what's going to happen here. It looks like Goku and Jiren, maybe this might be right at the end of the episode, like they do square off. Because remember, we did see some of the the leaks and stuff. And we know that the Tournament of Power is at a bare minimum going to be 4 episodes. And one of them was involving possibly JIREN, but I thought that wasn't for a couple episodes down the line. But for them to be squaring off right away, it's like, what the fuck? So we'll see. Regardless, though, I mean, there's not even really that much for me to talk about here. It just looks like the all-out battling will begin so soon. So, you know, we've waited these long 3 months, more like 4 months now, huh? For the Universal Survival Arc to really kick into gear, the Tournament of Power to begin. Now, I will say one last time, I do feel as though all of the build-up to the Tournament of Power was worth it, and it was needed. You know, we learned a lot of important, I don't want to say backstory, but we at least got some connections to many different characters. Look at Casserole of the Pride Troopers, we were introduced to him. Caulifla, Kale, like so many of these fighters we at least have been introduced to, so we will feel a little more attachment to some of these characters we've spent time with. You know, it's not 70 jobbers show up except for, like, you know, JIREN, Hit, and like Caulifla and Kale, and everyone else just gets bodied. Like, no, several of these characters we have been introduced to, which I think was really important. And overall, I'm just super excited. We're finally here. We're finally into the meat of the Universal Survival Arc. Guys, tell me, how excited are you? Or do you think Dragon Ball Super will fuck up the ending of another arc, just like they did with the Future Trunks arc? Right now, I'm so sold, but Dragon Ball episode 67 will forever leave a bad taste in my mouth. Even to this day, I really hope the Universal Survival Arc keeps it going strong. This next episode certainly does look like it will.